Most people don't realize this, but every single day, more than 10,000 seniors pack up their lives and move into nursing homes. Some are told it's the safest option. Others are pressured by family. But here's the shocking part, a large number of those people had no idea what they were actually stepping into. We spoke to someone who does. Her name is Veldora Rosin. She's 84, sharp as ever, and walked into a nursing home last year thinking she'd found her new home. But halfway through the tour, she stopped cold, turned around, and walked out without saying a word. What she saw, and what she felt, was enough to make her say, "Not like this. Not me." Before you consider handing over your independence, your routine, and your identity to a system you don't fully understand, please hear these 7 hard truths. Because once you know them, you'll see the decision in a whole new light. Have you or someone close to you been thinking about this step? Tell us in the comments, your experience might help someone else. And if you believe every older adult deserves real information before making life-changing decisions, tap that like button and subscribe. This might just save someone from the biggest mistake of their later years. Veldora Rosin never imagined she'd end up even considering a nursing home. At 84, she still did her own grocery shopping, still hemmed curtains for neighbors, and still brewed a pot of chamomile tea every night like she had for decades. She was a retired seamstress from Milwaukee, known in her old neighborhood for making wedding dresses out of vintage lace and never missing a church bake sale. But after a mild fall in her kitchen, nothing serious, just a bruised hip and a scare, her daughter insisted they at least go look at a nearby nursing facility. Just in case, she said. So, Veldora agreed. She didn't want to be a burden. That word echoed in her head all the way to the front door of that building. Burden. The tour started off pleasant enough. Clean floors. Polite staff. A bingo flyer taped to the bulletin board. But as she was led through the hallways, something felt off. She passed room after room where the televisions were on, but no one was watching. Where wheelchairs sat by the window, unmoving. Where staff, though kind, moved fast, too fast to really see anyone. When they reached the dining room, Veldora paused. She looked around at the faces, most of them blank, staring down at identical plates of food. No music. No laughter. Just forks scraping against plates and a silence that didn't feel peaceful, it felt heavy. That's when it hit her. This isn't peace, she thought. This is pause. It wasn't fear that made her walk out. It was clarity. She realized that while she still had the strength to choose, she needed to choose a life that kept her living, not just existing. That decision changed everything. And what she learned in those few minutes, about control, about comfort, about the quiet cost of convenience, is something most people don't figure out until it's far too late. So why are we telling you about Veldora? Because she's not unique in what she felt. But she is rare in what she did next. Before you make any decisions, listen to her story, and the truths she uncovered, so you can make the choice that truly honors your future. Truth number 1, it's not always safer. Most people believe nursing homes offer a safer environment than staying at home. And at first glance, it makes perfect sense: trained staff, emergency buttons, 24/7 supervision, and medical support. That's the comforting image sold to seniors and their families. But behind the brochures and carefully worded promises lies a much harsher truth. Many nursing homes are struggling to provide even basic safety, especially when it comes to preventing falls and responding to emergencies. In reality, nursing homes report a higher rate of falls compared to seniors who live independently with some support at home. Why? It's not because the people in homes are clumsier or weaker, it's because they're often in environments that are both unfamiliar and poorly staffed. Let's break this down. In your own home, you know where the edges of your rug are. You know how to steady yourself on your favorite chair. You've arranged things to your rhythm. But in a nursing facility, the floors are shiny, the layout is unfamiliar, and there are dozens of small changes that throw your balance off. Add in medications that aren't properly monitored or changed without personal feedback, and you've got a recipe for accidents. Now imagine having an accident. And no one comes. That's exactly what happened to Veldora. After finally agreeing to a short stay, she was trying to adjust. The bathroom looked nice, clean, but looks can deceive. The grip bars were installed too far from where she actually needed to stand, and the non-slip mat was curled at the edges, a clear hazard no one had fixed. She fell during a simple shower. A bruised shoulder, yes, but the real damage came after. She hit the emergency call button and lay there on the cold tiles, heart racing, water still running. She kept thinking, they'll be here in a minute. Maybe 2. But no one came. For 40 full minutes. Why the delay? The staff was short that day, which wasn't rare. Overworked and stretched thin, the aides couldn't respond fast enough. And it wasn't just that morning, it was part of a bigger pattern of underfunded, understaffed elder care. Veldora told us something chilling. Lying there, wet and shaking, I realized, I was more alone here than I ever was at home. That moment shattered her illusion of safety. She didn't feel cared for, she felt abandoned. Here's what this means for you. Before you believe that moving into a facility is the safer option, ask tough questions. How many staff are on at night? What's the average response time to an emergency call? When was the last safety inspection? Safety isn't about fancy equipment. It's about human presence, consistency, and accountability. Without that, a call button is just a decoration. Have you ever needed help and waited too long? Drop your story in the comments. Someone else might need that wake-up call. Truth number 2, loss of autonomy. One of the most overlooked consequences of entering a nursing home isn't something you can see on a chart or brochure, it's what disappears quietly, your sense of control over your own life. Veldora Rosen felt it within the first 48 hours. For over 60 years, her evenings followed a peaceful rhythm. She'd steep a cup of chamomile tea, open her favorite mystery novel, and read by the soft glow of her bedside lamp. It was her way of unwinding, reflecting, and reconnecting with herself before sleep. But in the nursing home, that small ritual vanished. The lights in her room were dimmed by 8 p.m. sharp, quiet hours, they said. Her tea wasn't allowed after a certain time because of medication interactions someone else decided on. Books were frowned upon after bedtime because residents need their rest. I felt like a child again, Veldora said. Except this time, there were no parents, just rules and schedules. And I hadn't agreed to any of it. Nursing homes operate on tight routines. Meals are served at exact times. Medications are dispensed on the dot. Bathing, recreational activities, and even bathroom assistance follow a schedule, not your schedule, but the facility's. It's meant to create efficiency. But for many, it strips away a lifetime of personal habits and self-direction. This isn't just about inconvenience, it's about identity. When you've spent decades building a life around your preferences, when to wake, what to eat, how to spend your evenings, having all that replaced overnight can feel deeply disorienting. Veldora told us that, for the first time in her life, she stopped feeling like an adult. Not because she was incapable, but because every little choice was quietly taken from her. Even the clothes she wore were sometimes swapped out by staff to make laundry easier. Autonomy isn't just a luxury, it's mental fuel. When you lose it, it doesn't just affect your schedule. It impacts your dignity, your motivation, even your will to stay engaged with life. Some seniors may appreciate the structure. And for those who truly struggle to manage their own routine, it can offer needed support. But for others, like Veldora, it feels like slowly being erased. So ask yourself, would this structure comfort you, or suffocate you? Would you be okay trading your routines, your preferences, and your independence for convenience? Tell us in the comments, what small daily ritual would you miss the most if someone else took over your schedule? Because sometimes, it's not the big freedoms we mourn, it's the tiny, quiet ones we took for granted. Truth number 3, the financial drain. Let's talk about something most brochures don't print in bold, the true cost of a nursing home. On paper, it might look manageable, especially if you're just glancing at the starting price. But behind those numbers is a reality that catches many seniors completely off guard. It's not just expensive, it's draining. In some cases, it can wipe out a lifetime of savings in just a few years. When Veldora sat down with the intake coordinator, the numbers sounded clinical, almost harmless. $9,800 a month for full-time care. That includes meals, housekeeping, and medical assistance. She nodded politely, not quite processing it. It wasn't until her son pulled out a calculator that the gravity of it hit. That's over $117,000 per year. Veldora's monthly income, between her pension and Social Security, was just under $3,000. Not bad by most standards. But not nearly enough to cover a nursing home. She would have had to burn through her savings, sell her home, and still might not have enough left if she lived past 88. And here's the part no one tells you. Once your assets drop below a certain point, you might qualify for Medicaid. But by then, you're essentially out of money. And Medicaid facilities? They don't always offer the same quality of care or options as private pay homes. This isn't just about dollars, it's about what that kind of financial pressure feels like. Imagine spending your whole life working, saving, making sacrifices, and finally reaching a point where you think, I've earned my peace. Then suddenly, you're forced to make impossible decisions. Do I drain my retirement? Do I sell the house I hope to pass down? Do I rely on my children, even if they're barely making it themselves? Veldora told us that this realization hit her harder than anything else. It wasn't just the price, she said. It was the fact that everything I worked for, decades of effort, could vanish in 2 years, all for a shared room and institutional food. And the worst part? Many seniors move in believing insurance will cover it all. But Medicare doesn't pay for long-term custodial care. Long-term care insurance can help, but most people either don't have it or bought limited coverage that won't stretch far. The result? You're stuck between paying out of pocket or waiting until your bank account hits zero. So here's the truth. Financial independence doesn't always mean emotional freedom. Not if you're pouring everything into a system that doesn't always give back. You've worked too hard to be met with fear instead of freedom. Have you done the math? Do you know what long-term care might cost you, or your loved ones? Let us know in the comments. This is the kind of truth that needs to be talked about, before it becomes a crisis. Truth number 4, emotional isolation. At first glance, nursing homes seem like lively places, filled with residents chatting in lounges, activities happening throughout the day, and staff moving around to help. But appearances can be deceiving. Despite being surrounded by people, many residents feel profoundly alone. And this isn't just a passing feeling, it's a deep, chronic loneliness that shadows daily life for over half of nursing home residents. Veldora experienced this silence firsthand. She remembers walking through the halls and seeing groups of residents sitting quietly, staring out windows or watching television, but rarely talking to one another. The staff, busy with tasks and routines, often didn't have the time for more than a quick greeting or mechanical check-in. Days passed where Veldora went without a genuine conversation, without feeling truly seen or heard. I was surrounded by people, but I felt invisible, she said. Everyone was alive, but no one was living. This kind of emotional isolation is often overlooked because it's invisible to outsiders. It doesn't show up on charts or medical reports, but its effects are very real. Loneliness has been linked to higher risks of depression, cognitive decline, and even physical health problems like heart disease and weakened immune function. What causes this isolation? Partly, it's the loss of familiar relationships. Friends and family may visit less often, sometimes due to distance or their own busy lives. And inside the home, the social environment can be challenging. Residents come from different backgrounds, with varying interests and energy levels. Staff shortages mean caregivers have limited time for meaningful interaction beyond medical needs. And scheduled activities don't always match what each person enjoys or finds fulfilling. For Veldora, it wasn't enough to be busy or occupied. She craved connection, a friendly smile, a heartfelt chat, the kind of companionship that makes you feel you matter. This truth hits close to home for so many seniors considering a nursing home. Because no matter how safe or comfortable the physical environment, feeling emotionally disconnected can erode your quality of life faster than anything else. So here's a question for you. What keeps you feeling connected these days? Is it calls with loved ones? A hobby? Time with friends or neighbors? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your insight might remind someone else of what they've been missing, or help them find a new way to stay connected. Because sometimes, what we really need isn't care, it's community. Truth number 5, loss of identity. One of the most painful, invisible wounds seniors face in nursing homes is the gradual loss of who they are, their identity. When you've spent a lifetime building a unique story, shaped by your passions, skills, relationships, and memories, it can feel devastating to be reduced to just a number on a door or a line on a schedule. For Veldora, this loss wasn't just theoretical, it was deeply personal. She had been a dancer in her youth, graceful and vibrant on stage. Later, she poured love and creativity into her work as a seamstress, stitching not just clothes but stories and memories into every garment. And as a mother, she had nurtured a family that was her pride and joy. But when she moved into the nursing home, all those roles seemed to vanish overnight. Staff didn't know about her past achievements or her talents. To them, She was just another resident, often referred to by her room number or as the lady with the walker. No one asked about her life's passions or the stories behind her wrinkles. She told us, "It was like I'd become invisible, like I was no longer a person with a history. Just a body to be managed." This loss of identity can feel like an emotional erasure. When no one recognizes your uniqueness, it chips away at your self-worth and sense of purpose. Without that personal acknowledgement, it's easy to feel disconnected from yourself. Many families don't realize this is happening. They think a nursing home will provide all the care needed, but what's often missing is care for the person behind the care. It's not just about medical checklists and daily routines, it's about seeing and honoring the whole person, your history, your likes, your dreams. And this is where the next truth hits even deeper, because losing your identity isn't just an emotional wound, it affects your motivation, your mental health, and how you engage with life every day. Before we get to that, take a moment to reflect. What are the parts of your identity you cherish most? What makes you, you? Let us know in the comments. Sharing your story might help others remember their own, and remind caregivers what truly matters. Truth number 6, declining health from inactivity. When we think about nursing homes, the picture that often comes to mind is one of safety and care, a place where seniors are looked after, their needs met, and their health maintained. But the reality, especially for many residents, can be far from this hopeful image. In fact, one of the hardest truths about nursing homes is how quickly physical health can deteriorate because of inactivity. Veldora was the embodiment of vitality. For decades, she maintained an active lifestyle, walking every morning in her Milwaukee neighborhood, tending to her garden, and staying engaged with friends and community events. Movement wasn't just exercise for her, it was a lifeline to independence, joy, and connection. Yet, when she moved into the nursing home, that routine vanished almost overnight. The once familiar morning walks became memories. Her days settled into long hours of sitting, waiting for meals, sitting through group activities she didn't always enjoy, or simply staring out the window. Within just 3 weeks, Veldora noticed a stark change. Her strength was fading, her legs felt heavy, and her balance was off. What used to be effortless was suddenly a struggle. The energy she once had to dance and so seemed to drain away, leaving her feeling fragile and disconnected from the person she once was. This rapid decline isn't unusual. Nursing homes, with their structured schedules and limited staffing, often can't provide the personalized encouragement or physical activity residents need. Group exercise classes are sometimes too generic or infrequent to truly make a difference. The consequences of inactivity go beyond muscle loss. When seniors stop moving regularly, their cardiovascular health suffers, joints stiffen, and the risk of serious falls increases. Immobility can trigger a cascade of health problems, pressure sores, blood clots, weakened bones, and even cognitive decline due to reduced blood flow and mental stimulation. Perhaps most heartbreaking is how this physical decline feeds into emotional struggles. Veldora felt trapped inside her own body, as her health slipped away, day by day. This loss of mobility also meant losing independence, which can be devastating for anyone, especially those who pride themselves on having led strong, capable lives. But here's an important truth: decline from inactivity isn't inevitable. Movement truly is medicine. Even gentle, consistent physical activity, like short walks, stretching, or simple strength exercises, can slow or even reverse many of these declines. If you or someone you love is considering a nursing home, ask tough questions. How do they encourage residents to stay active? Are there individualized exercise plans? What kind of support do staff provide for daily movement? And for those already in nursing homes, finding ways to keep moving, whether through therapy, guided exercise, or even small daily routines, can make a huge difference in quality of life. So here's a question for you. What's your favorite way to stay active? Maybe it's gardening, dancing in the living room, or a simple walk around the block. Share your story in the comments. Your experience might inspire someone else to take that crucial step toward better health. Because no one deserves to watch their strength and independence fade away just by sitting still. Truth number 7, there are better options. After hearing all the difficult realities about nursing homes, it might feel like the only path forward is grim and unavoidable. But the truth is far more hopeful, because there are better options out there, and they are changing the way seniors live, connect, and thrive in their later years. Veldora's journey didn't end in surrender to the nursing home lifestyle. Instead, it took a surprising turn when she discovered something called senior co-housing, or shared living communities designed especially for people like her who wanted independence without isolation. Imagine a home, not a big, impersonal facility, but a warm, inviting house shared by a few seniors. Each resident has their own private room or small apartment, but they come together in shared spaces like the kitchen, dining room, or garden. This arrangement lets them enjoy privacy while also fostering social connection and mutual support. For Veldora, this was life-changing. She moved in with 3 other seniors who quickly became like a second family. They shared meals, hobbies, and laughter. Instead of feeling forgotten or invisible, she felt seen, heard, and valued again. She told me, "I didn't need a nurse, I needed connection." And that simple truth reveals something powerful. Many seniors don't just want physical care, they want emotional and social nourishment. Feeling part of a community, having meaningful relationships, and maintaining autonomy matter just as much as medical support. Beyond co-housing, a range of alternatives has emerged, tailored to different needs and preferences. In-home care, this option allows seniors to remain in their own homes, surrounded by familiar things and memories. Professional caregivers come in to assist with daily tasks like bathing, cooking, or medication management. This model offers tremendous flexibility, letting people maintain control over their environment and schedule while getting the help they need. Adult family homes, these are smaller, more intimate living arrangements, often in residential neighborhoods, where a few seniors live together with trained caregivers. It combines personal care with a cozy, family-like atmosphere, avoiding the institutional feel of larger nursing homes. Senior villages and aging-in-place networks, these community-based programs connect seniors with neighbors and volunteers who provide transportation, social activities, home repairs, and other support. They create a safety net while encouraging independence and community involvement. These alternatives are not just better options financially, they often provide higher quality of life, more respect for personal preferences, and stronger social bonds. Many families feel stuck choosing nursing homes because it's what they know, or because they're overwhelmed by the options. But learning about these newer models opens a door to a future where aging can be about thriving, not just surviving. If you or someone you love is facing the decision of where to live or what kind of care to pursue, take the time to explore these choices. Talk to people who live in co-housing communities, meet in-home caregivers, or connect with local senior programs. The right fit could look very different from the traditional nursing home. Veldora's move wasn't easy. It took research, courage, and a willingness to try something new. But the payoff was immense. She found joy, independence, and above all, connection. And now, here's the question for you. Have you or someone you care about considered any of these alternatives? Or maybe you've had an experience with nursing homes that surprised you? Share your thoughts and stories in the comments below. Your voice might be the encouragement someone else needs. Because the truth is this, aging doesn't have to mean giving up your life. With the right choices, it can be a new chapter filled with purpose, friendship, and freedom. After years of feeling trapped and invisible in a traditional nursing home, Veldora made a bold decision that changed everything. She left behind the rigid schedules, the loneliness, and the endless waiting for help, and moved into a small cottage community designed specifically for seniors who want to reclaim their independence and joy. This wasn't just a new place to live, it was a fresh start. In this close-knit community, Veldora found a rhythm that honored her needs and desires. Every morning, she wakes up on her own terms, no longer bound by strict wake-up calls or institutional routines. She enjoys a peaceful walk through the garden paths, breathing in fresh air and greeting neighbors by name. These simple moments, once taken for granted, now feel like gifts. Cooking became a daily joy again, not a chore to be rushed or done by someone else. Veldora loves preparing her favorite recipes, some she learned as a young seamstress's daughter, others picked up over the years, and sharing meals with her housemates. They gather around the table, sharing stories, laughter, and companionship, reminding her of family dinners long past. But perhaps the most profound change is the return of choice and meaning. "I got my mornings back," she says, "my music. My meaning." Veldora plays the piano in the common room, sings along to old songs, and even started teaching knitting again, passing on her skills to younger residents. These activities aren't scheduled or mandated, they're her decisions, expressions of who she truly is. This shift did more than restore her routine, it restored her sense of self. Where she once felt like just another patient or number, she now feels like a vibrant individual with a story worth telling. The freedom to live intentionally has given her a renewed sense of purpose, energy, and happiness. For many seniors, this kind of transformation might seem out of reach or unfamiliar. But Veldora's experience shows it's possible, and that it starts with choosing a lifestyle that respects autonomy, fosters community, and nurtures the spirit. So, if you or someone you love is facing tough decisions about aging and care, consider what kind of life you want, not just what's easiest or expected. Because at the heart of it all, it's about living fully, no matter your age. Have you ever experienced a moment where a small change made a huge difference in your happiness or health? Share your story in the comments below, we'd love to hear from you. Before you decide to trade your independence for the convenience of a nursing home, take a moment to ask yourself a crucial question. Do I want to be merely looked after, or do I want to truly live? This isn't just about safety or comfort, it's about the quality of your days, the joy you find in small moments, and the respect you deserve as a person with dreams, memories, and a unique story. The hard truths we've shared today may feel uncomfortable, even overwhelming. But knowing them gives you a powerful advantage. It puts the control back in your hands so you can make choices that honor your values, your health, and your spirit. Aging doesn't mean giving up, it means finding new ways to thrive on your own terms. If this video has opened your eyes or made you rethink what aging well really means, please hit that like button. Sharing this with someone who's facing these tough decisions could be the spark they need to find a better path. And don't forget to subscribe for more honest, empowering advice that helps you, and those you love, navigate life after 60 with confidence and hope.